Hi, my name is Alexandra Angelique Leeper. I'm a film producer, and for the past 22 months, I've been working full time on a very special project. It's a documentary film called Yogis of Ukraine.
Hi, I'm Laurie Laney Shanks, a UK-based producer working on the Yogis of Ukraine.
My name is Bob Degas, and I am the director and one of the producers of Yogis of Ukraine.
My name is Adeline Jones, and it's just a huge honor to be one of the executive producers of the Yogis of Ukraine.
When I first heard about these Ukrainian women who were using yoga in meditation to heal themselves and their soldiers on the front lines, I knew right away that this had to be a film. And I was asked if I wanted to go to Ukraine, and my answer was no, I didn't. I didn't know where Ukraine was, which is true. I didn't really want to go into a war zone, and no. And that night, I thought about it.
The women who are featured in the film are really next level when it comes to consciousness and inspiration and spirituality. And because they're living in an active war zone with missiles, hitting their friends' houses as they're practicing yoga, and this heightened level of presence that has created for them, their message is so profound, and it really feels like an honor to be facilitating this message being shared with a wide global audience.
This film embodies everything that I want to see in the world. What really struck me when I watched the documentary in a private screening was the inspirational, powerful emanation of resilience and the fact these women are not victims in this war. They have taken it upon themselves to bring light back into the world and into Ukraine. The film was the most powerful documentary I'd ever seen. And I believe it has the ability to change the world for the better, with peace being at the core.
And so I thought about it that night, that here are these women doing these amazing things in Ukraine that clearly is so inspiring. And if I don't go tell that story, probably no one else will, and it won't get told. So the following day, I changed my mind and I said, yes, I'll go. And I committed to going. And then I read on the United States Department of State website this warning that said Ukraine, and I think it's still that way, is do not travel. You're not supposed to travel to Ukraine. So I had this debate with myself. The United States government is saying, don't go to Ukraine. And yet here is this very powerful story that these women on the front lines are using yoga to help soldiers heal. I thought I have to go tell this story.
At the beginning of this project, it was a paid project. It was presented as a paid project that our team would be compensated. That didn't end up happening.
Because the messages of these Ukrainian women I felt were so important for the world to hear, it's been a challenge to stop working on the film, even though there's been no money to pay any of us.
This is the most important thing I can be doing. In a world full of distractions, this is the one thing that feels real, urgent, and worth every sacrifice.
We've done everything we can to bring this film out into the world in the quickest way possible that we know how to make it, because the story is that important.
Sharing these stories of women using breath and movement to survive war is not just our job, it's our calling.
I do remember the very first time I saw the movie. It was a small showing. I had no idea what it was going to be about. Women doing Kundalini yoga in Ukraine. And I had no idea, though, of how powerful it was going to be. And this practice, how powerful it is for these women, and then how it has led them to be so strong and to provide such leadership. One of the women in the film talks about they are the new Tibet, and I really believe it.
Мені здається, це як, не знаю, новий Тибет, можливо. з дуже-дуже сильною.
Що гуру і майстри, духовні лідери, вони народжуються там, де є дуже багато проблем.
But also each of their stories, because I've never been in a war, so their stories were just heartbreaking. I mean, yeah, the whole it's heartbreaking and also incredibly empowering all at the same time. And I just have such huge admiration.
Україна може навчити світ, тому що життя продовжується навіть в дуже жахливих умовах, що ми можемо бути щасливі навіть за часів війни. Ми можемо знаходити радість в якихось маленьких речах і, втративши дуже багато, але залишаючись собою, ми можемо бути щасливі.
But I can't tell you how many times in this film, and the same with everyone I've talked to who has seen it, and I've also seen it now several times, how deeply it affects me every single time. I don't know anybody who isn't deeply affected when they see this film. They're completely blown away, absolutely blown away.
Their message isn't just for Ukraine. It's for all of us.
This isn't about perks or selling you a fancy mug for peace.
This is about changing the narrative, about sharing the story of how more than 450 women found strength, courage, and resilience through yoga in an active war zone.
What you get is being part of the story. You help make it visible.
We're at a really exciting juncture on the journey now because the film is finished. The edit is finished. We still have one more step of finishing the music by recording the original music score with a live orchestra, and that is our final step. But we are heading now to Europe to raise that money. I have a lot of friends in Europe, and some of them have told me that Ukraine is really at the heart of people living in Europe, especially in the areas bordering Ukraine. And so we'd like to go over there and share this film with people that are actively involved with supporting Ukraine and see if we can get it into the right circles to get the funding we need in a timely fashion. And we're visiting various cities to just begin a movement of gathering people around the movie to create moments of peace together. I'm calling it peace parties because it's just an opportunity to have a group of people see the film and then sit in a circle and go into some meditative practices.
So it's like an interactive screening for people to experience the yoga. I think will be inspired by the film and then get to experience it for themselves.
And it's our vision that this will grow and grow and that we will be able to foster a sense of peace as we move through the world with this film.
That each one of us can grasp our own light within us and our own love and show that to the world and bring that out to the world. The world doesn't teach us necessarily to do that. The world might teach us to keep that, within ourselves, or that it doesn't have an effect on anybody. But it does. It really does.
One of the things I realized that night as I was deciding whether to go or not go is that if I don't step up and go, this story isn't going to be told. And what has become very clear to me is that the way that this movie will reach the widest possible audience is if as many people as possible step up and join this journey and help us bring the message of these Ukrainian women to the world. And I think it's an extraordinary opportunity to participate in something that is truly amazing, especially when you see the film and you see what these women are doing. You are really in shock, and it brings tears to your eyes because they are so sincere and honest and right-minded in what they're doing, and it's an inspiration for all of us to follow their example and to step into the best versions of ourselves.
So it's they're leading all of us, and they're showing all of us the way. If they can do it, we sure can do it.
We are making a film that helps people reimagine how we respond to crisis, not with fear, but with breath, strength, and soul.
This film embodies everything I stand for in the world, which is peace, world peace. And why can't that happen? Well, I think we've been taught all throughout our lives and through the history books that conflict is inevitable. It will always be here. World peace can't exist. But I challenge that, and this film challenges that. Why not? Why can't there be world peace? Just because we haven't seen it before doesn't mean it can't happen. We didn't have smartphones 30 years ago, and now we've got everything is cultivated, and things don't exist, and then they all of a sudden exist, and you think, oh my goodness, how come this wasn't here to begin with? I believe that with world peace. I'm an advocate for it, and this film is one of the biggest advocates I think I've ever seen. So being a part of it was clear, an obvious choice.
We understand times are hard right now, but you don't need to give big to help us translate one more line of dialogue, or to add one more subtitle, or to get this message out to one more audience member.
Their eyes say no one's listening, but we're listening. Are you?
We are listening, and with your help, the world will too.